Welcome back to the workshop. So today we're back on the Windmill again. So as I said on the last video, the charging unit is designed for lead acid batteries, not lithium batteries, and I actually want to put this on my lithium batteries. So I need to change the charging type. So what I'm going to do is just change it from the little black box over there. I'm just going to do a straight rectifier setup and then plug it straight into the charge controller input where my lithium batteries are. So what I've done is I've just drawn up a diagram, more for my benefit than anybody else's, but for those that need to know as well, I'm happy to go through it. So obviously we've got the windmill. I've signified that coming through here. I've just drawn out the diagram of the full rectification for each of the phases. And then for those that have done a little bit of AC or anything like that, you can see this is a normal bridge rectifier. So you need a full one for the two phases, and then you need a third one for the third phase. So, and then we've got our plus minus coming out. So what I've done is I've drawn this out and then converted it, as I said, more for my benefit because I've got two bridge rectifiers here and I just haven't played with them for a while, so I just drew it out for my benefit. So obviously when the power comes in, it gets rectified and then goes out there. So that's basically what I'm going to do today. Hopefully it should be a quick and short video. I've also got a heatsink to put it onto. I've got all the cables and stuff, so we'll hook into it and see if I can get it to go. Alright, so I have my two rectifiers here. I've got a heatsink for them to go into. I don't think it's going to get that hot, but I've got that heatsink sitting around from something else that I pulled apart, so I'm going to use that. I've got three wires here for the incoming phases from the windmill that I'll just put into the same connector that was on the other one, and just got my positive and negative coming out. So I haven't figured out how I'm going to put these on here yet. There's an existing hole there I could use. I don't even know if I'll use the whole heatsink. I possibly will. Might be easier. So there's lines up there nicely on the holes, so I can then just cut this piece off and use that as a secondary piece, as a secondary heatsink for something else somewhere else. Or I might just leave it. I can't be bothered. So all I've got to do is put two of my phases onto these two middle pins, and obviously the other phase onto this single one here, and then hook all the positives and negatives together, and it should be done. So what I'll do is I'll just trim these down a little bit, just so I haven't got too much cable hanging around everywhere and the legs off the thing. So I should mount these up first, I think. So I'll drill a couple of holes and get a couple of nuts and bolts and mount them up. So the holes I've marked there fall between the two fins on the heatsink. That one only just. That way I can put a nut behind it, so I might just move that one across slightly when I drill it. And I don't have to worry about insulating these because there's no connector on these or exposed silicon exposure here like there are on some of the other ones, like on a transistor or something like that. So I can just screw them straight in. Alright, because I'm too lazy, I decided I was just going to reuse the existing hole that's already there, and I'll just drill one hole. Actually, that hole's in the already marked spot. Alright, well that was the worst hole ever. The drill bit decided to go for a massive wonder and obviously wasn't sharp enough to drill properly, so that was a bit frustrating. Alright, that's one in, and that's two in. And they're crooked as anything, but that's okay. Alright, we'll just trim these off. Alright, got my three phase wires here. I'll just tin all these spots up so I can solder the wires onto them. So these are just a generic 400 volt 6 amp bridge rectifier, so I don't see them getting any much more power than that. These are just a standard one from J Car here in Australia, only a few bucks each. Probably could have got them cheaper from somewhere else, but I got them today rather than waiting, because the other the Windmill video was literally yesterday. So when I finally finished posting that up, and I've just actually finished bracing it a little bit because it's actually windy today, and it's quite happily spinning in the breeze over there, but it's got a bit of a wobble to it. And I think that's just because the way I've mounted it isn't, super secure. So I've just braced it a little bit, but I've just got to get another bracket just to help stabilize it a little bit more. It's not going to fall off. It's just got the wobbles, just because it can actually move a little bit. So of course, when the wind blows against it, it's pushing on it, and it's deciding to move, and then it springs back and gets the shakes. And you might actually be able to hear it in the background of the video. I'm not sure. I can hear it because I know what I'm listening for, because I've been sitting here listening to it the whole time. That's one phase wire, second phase wire, and three phase wires. I will heat shrink all these in a bit. Actually, I'll heat shrink these ones now. Main reason being because I think the positive and negative ones probably won't be heat shrunk, because I'm going to do the way I'm going to have to solder the wires onto those will make it a little bit hard to add a heat shrink to it as well. Hopefully these are okay and not too big. So I just remembered ages ago I bought a heat blowing tool, and I realised I haven't used it yet, so I may as well use it for this rather than trying to do it with the soldering iron. There we go, much nicer. Alright, so as you saw there, what I'm going to do is actually solder that one and that one like that, so that I don't actually have to try and solder two wires to particularly this one, because it's a right pain. If anyone's got any good suggestions on how to do that better, I'm happy to hear them, because there have been plenty of times where I've soldered two wires onto a post like that, and much swearing has ensued because of the fact of you solder one wire on and the other one falls off. So many an hour has been wasted trying to deal with that. And of course, it's so much more fun when it's really hot. You burn your hand as well. Definitely not my neatest soldering these days, that's for sure. Alright, that's a little bit better, and I can probably actually still heat shrink it. Alright, I'll do the same for the negative. So rinse and repeat from last time. So I frustrated myself a little bit today because I went to JCar to buy all these bits for this job and another one, and on one of my other videos, my soldering iron decided to die. So I've got a video of me trying to fix that, but the heater's gone, so I need to replace it. But did you think I bought another soldering iron while I was in JCar this morning? No, I kind of forgot. So I guess now I've got another excuse to go to JCar and buy some more stuff. But alright, now I'll heat shrink these up. Alrighty, try and hook it up to the windmill and see if it actually works for me. So here we have the unit. So I'm going to just basically pull these three phase wires out of here and put them onto these three, and then just measure the power output coming out of here. And fingers crossed there actually will be some. I've been watching this work, so I know it does actually work. So when you hook it up to the battery, the little green light there comes on quite happily, and then as it's spinning you can see this one flashing, indicating that it's trying to charge. Okay, so I've got these cut ready to go. I've got the terminals here. Now we'll just pop them all in and see what we get out the other side. Alright, of course now I want to measure some voltage. Of course the wind's dropped right off. Alright, so of course the wind doesn't want to play for me now, so but as you can see it is moving a little bit as the wind picks up in small gusts there, so I'll just call it. Alright, so thanks again for hanging around in the shop with me. Hopefully I can get some proper wind and get this going onto the charger and get some power going into my batteries. But yeah, again, thanks for hanging out in the shop with me. Don't forget to give it a like and a subscribe, and leave me some comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.